Simple, small acts of love. It is fascinating that on Judgment Day, that the test that Jesus will use to separate the sheeps from the goats is not related to our belief or our righteousness, but our love. Think about that. I'm going to say that again. It is fascinating that on Judgment Day, the test Jesus will use to separate the sheep from the goats is not related to our belief or our righteousness, but our love. The Bible teaches with absolute clarity that salvation is a free gift of God that is received by grace through faith and not our works. Still, in Matthew 25, verses 31 to 46, Jesus distinguished the sheep from the goats by the simple acts of love they performed in life. Acts such as giving a cup of water, a meal, shelter, clothing, and companionship. Pastor Moody's life was characterized by many such small kindnesses. Biographer Gamaliel Bradford wrote that Moody's personal kindness and consideration for others were unlimited. He was always on the lookout for those smaller helpfulnesses to friends and neighbors which go so far. R.A. Torrey, who worked alongside Moody in his evangelism and then as superintendent and later president at what is now Moody Bible Institute, said, "Moody was one of the kindest men I ever knew. He was always on the lookout for kindly things to do. Every morning he would find some little delicacy on our back doorstep, the first asparagus of the season, the first strawberries, or something of that sort, and we always knew it came from Pastor Moody. We always knew that Moody had been around before we were up, and he every day would make a round of house of relatives and friends with potatoes and asparagus and other vegetables. He did not sell these things, but gave them away, simply from the kindness of his heart." In an article about Moody, fellow minister Henry Drummond said, "At the beginning of each term, hundreds of students, many of them strangers, arrived to attend the seminaries at Northfield, Massachusetts. At such times, Mr. Moody literally haunts the depot to meet them at the moment they most need a friend." Miss A. Rosie, who worked at the Northfield Seminary, recalled the Thanksgiving weekend when several students, far from home and without transportation, remained on campus. Mr. and Mrs. Moody, she said, left their own family gathering, came over to the hall, and spent 2 or 3 hours of the afternoon with us, playing games and entering into our sport, trying to make us feel as much as home as possible. Some students had to remain during the Christmas vacation as well. Mr. Moody did all he could to make the place a time pleasant and the surroundings homelike, Rosie recalled. She said, "The evening before Christmas, word was brought that we should hang our stockings on the door handles outside of our dormitories. We did so, thinking perhaps it was nothing but a joke. But in the morning, when we brought in our stockings, we each found a card containing scripture appropriate for the occasion from Mr. Moody and a silk handkerchief from Mrs. Moody. We prized those gifts very highly, I assure you," she said. Dwight Moody's generosity extended to a bigger concern as well. Fees for courses eventually reached $100 per term. That was a lot of money at that time. Most could not even raise half their fees, and Moody usually paid the money himself or with help from friends. For example, a staff person at Northfield once wrote a prospective student and said, "Do not worry about the financial part. I saw Mr. Moody about the matter this evening, and he says you can come and have the tuition and board free. We will thank the Lord for opening the way."